Now, what do all these things have in common? Well, they're all pickled. They're all cucumbers. Well, I'd say they all have that they're high acid and in common. In other words, they're all water bath canned, and they're all also very, very inexpensive if you buy them by the gallon. If you're buying them in the springtime, obviously you'll have a lot of extra canning jars that you're not using just because you haven't gotten into your growing season. Well, you can buy this for under $4. Bread and butter pickles, 64 ounces, half a gallon. You can buy a full gallon of dill chips for under $5. I think this was $4.60 a gallon. This gallon of relish is about the same price. This gallon of kosher dill spears is like $4.50. Every one of these were under $5 a gallon. So why not take and recan those so that you end up with virtually about somewhere close to 20 pints, or a mix of pints and quarts of pickles. Thought it was a pretty good deal, so why don't I just do this, and I won't even have to grow cucumbers this season. Sounds like a good deal to me. Fire up the water bath canner. A little over a dozen pint jars and a couple of quarts. With all the lids and rings to be sanitized. Got some hot and sterilized jars. This is kind of a experiment, say the least. I know a lot of people who have done this just from people I've read online. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill these. I'm going to take it. I'm going to pour the liquid from the jar, into a measuring cup here, just so I can pour it into the jars later. But I'm going to take it from the big jar into there, and then I'm going to take all the pickles, pack them into the jars with my funnel here, and then pour the liquid in on top of them, and then I'm going to recan them. I mean, this is buyer beware. Anybody who sees this, people do this all the time, but it's up to you. You take your own risk if you do it. I wouldn't do it with any low acid foods, any type of meats or anything, but with a high acid food, again, this is kind of experimentation, so buyer beware. But for these kind of prices, it's worth the risk, especially when I have the extra canning jars and lids ready to go. So we're going to see how it turns out. Okay, I got the bread and butters packed into jars now, which actually that half gallon only worked out to 3 pints and a partial, which the partial I'm just going to put in the refrigerator. I'm not going to bother to can it because we'll eat it soon enough. But I'm going to go ahead and put these 3 into my water bath canner. Well, actually, I'm going to just set it in the rack. I'm not going to put it in the water, and then I'm going to go ahead and put these dill chips into jars and see where we're at then. Well, I got the regular dill chips in with the bread and butters, and I just put a little D on each of the caps. I don't know, it may boil off, but I'll just remember which one they are. Now I'm going to just go through a standard water bath canning process. See you shortly. Well, we're about 10 minutes to go on our water bath here. I finished canning the rest of the big jar. I've got a partial left over, which I'll just put this in the refrigerator. One nice thing about using these big jars is, well, now I've got these big jars left over that I can use for other things. So anyway, just something else to think about when buying in bulk like this. I'm going to go ahead and do something with these large dill spears. I made a couple of quarts here. I'm gonna, go ahead and put those in jars here and see. I'll probably just go ahead and put those in whenever I water bath these. So, more work to come. Well, the water bath time is up on these jars, so I'm going to take and rotate them with these. I went ahead and started packing a couple of the dills, 1 quart, 1 pint, into these. I'm going to have to sterilize some more jars, so I'm going to have to set this aside, and I'll do it whenever I do the relish over here, but I'll do that within 24 hours. I don't like to keep it open, for that long before I recan it, but I'm going to water bath process. I'm going to take these out and then process these, and then I'll come back for the wrap up. These have only been out of the bath for a couple of minutes, but I've already heard two of the lids suck down. So it sounds like the seal's taken. And we'll have some sealed up pickles. So sounds good. I love the sound of that little tink. Makes you feel like you did something right. Well, that's the last of that water bath canning batch. So ended up with basically 11 pints and 1 quart of pickles, and most of them are dill, but some of them are bread and butter. But I'm going to go ahead and can the rest of the dills. I'm going to put these in the fridge for tonight because it's kind of late. Then I'll do all these relish as well later. But I don't know, it's a good cheap way to do. I don't even know if I'll grow cucumbers this summer. It's at the prices where they are right now, I know it's going to go higher, but if I can all I need for the next year and a half, then I may not grow these and use the plot in my garden for beans. They're much more efficient as far as that goes, and I use a lot more of them, but that's what my thoughts are right now. Lastly, I just wanted to say, the only thing that I read about this that might be a problem for anybody is if you like your pickles really crisp, this might not be something for you to do because it does soften them a bit. I don't mind my pickles being soft. Most of mine, especially dill chips, I really don't mind them being soft. So, that's about the last of it. I hope it's a good idea for you. I hope it, maybe you'll try it. It's up to you. So, enjoy the video, and I hope you have a great day. Comment, ask any questions about my experience. I'll probably follow this up with a video on some of my openings of some of these cans, just to give you the results of whether they're fresh or funky. So, have a great rest of the weekend. Here's the second day of recanning some of these things. I got all those relish, that 1 gallon of relish that I bought, I think for $4.40 something at Sam's Club, was actually made 7 pints. 7 pints out of $4, and just using things that I already had. These canning jars. Lids have very little cost for replacement, but again, quite a good value for just a little bit of work here. Also, I'm doing a second because family really loves the bread and butter style pickles. But anyway, I took and put this 1 jar here made 1 pint and 1 quart jar. And what I do is I of course pour all the liquid out before I start packing the pickles into here, and just to add a little bit of flavor and also a little bit of moisture before I do the water bath canning, I took and poured a little bit of this bread and butter pickle juice, just a little bit on top to go ahead and get some liquid covering everything before I put this relish into the water bath canning. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put these in the canner because it's good and boiling, and check back with you here in a minute. Well, the first 7 of the relish are out. I've got 1 more pint of relish in the canner now, and with a couple of other things, the rest of those bread and butter pickles that I rejarred. So those should be out here in a minute, and that should do it. But basically, out of about $14-15 worth of, I had basically a gallon of relish, a gallon of dill pickle chips, a gallon of dill pickle spears. Also, let's see, 2 half gallons, so basically a gallon of bread and butter pickles. I'm going to end up with a couple of dozen pints and a couple of quart jars, several quart jars out of the mix. So certainly a good value for the money. And by the time that the gardening season rolls back around, a lot of these jars will be back empty again. So I should be able to reuse them for canning once my garden vegetables start getting finished up. And anyway, rate and comment. Love to hear some other suggestions if anybody's tried anything else. Like I said, this is my first time of doing this, but I think I'll probably do it again, especially if the gallon prices for a lot of these pickle products, relish and other items remain as cheap as they are, but certainly prices are going up. So anyway, have a great day.